Oh my god, so fizzy. So hey, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Darren Rigo. I'm that guy that makes a YouTube video every 3 or 4 months, and in that video I usually say some version of, I'm gonna be making more videos, and then I don't make more videos. The funny thing about being a very small YouTuber that you would never guess is that people still kind of notice things, which is kind of funny. I got this comment a couple days ago on my last video, noting that some people have noticed that I've switched from Nikon, which was kind of what I made videos about before, and I was a pretty avid Nikon fan, that I'm now shooting on Sony. And so I wanted to make a video, or what I think will be 2 videos, explaining why I switched, talking about the reasons I think a person who's shooting Nikon might consider switching, and then sort of the things that I've learned post-switch, now having shot Sony for about 9 months. So let's hop into that right now. So I want to be like very upfront right at the top of this video. This is not a Nikon hate video. I love my Nikon cameras. I still own 2. And I have no intentions of getting rid of them. I'm such a Nikon fan. I was involved with them as a Nikon Z creator. I've had a Nikon since I was like 13 years old. So they're going nowhere. This is not a slam on Nikon, but this is going to kind of explain, as far as a business decision goes, why I made that switch. And so let's kind of start there at that business decision. And I want to look backwards about 9 months when I was still shooting Nikon. I had a Nikon Z6II and a Nikon Z6 OG, a Nikon Z6 original. And at that time, about a year ago, this time last year, I was shooting about 50-50 in my freelance work. I had about 50% photo contracts, 50% video contracts. I was still very much so doing weddings. But I was also really starting to kind of grow the video side of my business in tandem to that. And then looking forward to right now, that number has totally shifted. I have probably about 85-90% video contracts and, you know, the odd photo contract. I'm still doing some weddings. I am doing the odd photo contract for clients who need it. But the whole thing is totally inverted in that I'm completely... Not completely, but I'm almost entirely video first. And the thing about this is, like, if you are a freelancer or you are a business owner, and this is very true for if you're a farmer growing crops or you're a service provider like me who provides video services, is you can kind of see things coming if you're paying attention. And this is maybe another video for another day, but if you are tracking the money coming into your business and where it's coming from, you might be able to spot sort of a 6 or 9 month trend of like, oh, it seems like I'm getting a lot more video work, and you can kind of begin to sort of chase that. And what I was noticing about a year ago is I was starting to see a lot more video work, and that video work was a lot more lucrative. And I don't mean peanuts, like I mean like 3 to 4 times more profitable than the photo contracts that I was doing when you cost out the money to time ratio that I was putting into them. Someone's walking their dog up and down the street, and it's like the most cute thing to watch. I'm loving it. Trying not to be distracted. Stay focused. So I'm paying attention. I'm watching these video contracts come in. I'm seeing revenue grow, which is great. But the other thing that I'm kind of paying attention to and noticing is that my anxiety and like my mental health was also getting quite stressed. Some of that is because, I was a bit less experienced with video, but I did know what I was doing, and I was pretty confident in knowing how to deliver these products. I just found that I was getting home and I was noticing that I was missing a lot of key shots. And, like I had lost focus on important moments, or, I'd blown the highlights on shots that I really didn't think I needed to. Without getting into like a ton of specific detail, I just was really starting to notice that the cameras were trailing behind my skill level, and they weren't performing the task that I needed to do. My dad is a carpenter, and I know that he often talks about if a tool starts to fall short, if your excavator or your drill or whatever is not providing you the service that it needs to, that's time to upgrade. That's time to sort of look for the next product that will close that gap for you. And so this is where I think I kind of want to jump into a bit of an itemized list of the things that I was really noticing shortcomings and the things that really kind of pushed me to pull the pin on jumping ecosystem from Nikon to Sony. And so number one on that list of items that I was really paying attention to last year was the autofocus. And I think I brought this up in my review of the Nikon Z6 when talking about the Z6II. It's just always been this thing that I've been aware of, which is that the Nikon autofocus system has not caught up to Sony and even Canon. I've never shied away from that point. In photography, it was passable, you know, like I could make it work. I knew my way around it. But in video, I was really starting to notice that I was losing really key shots. And I'm not talking about like crazy, you know, in a car, shooting another car, you know, passing each other with like, you know, things in the way. I'm talking about pretty basic shots, like very similar to this, just talking heads. I can't tell you how many times someone would like do this with their hand while they're talking and the autofocus would catch their hand and then it would just hold out of focus. At times it would just literally be talking like this and then it would just start to hunt for the eyes and it would totally lose them. And I could always kind of hide that under B-roll, or I was usually shooting with two cameras so I could kind of jump to the other angle for that. But my anxiety and my stress on different sets when I was producing always kind of got me to this place where I was like, is it recording? Is it going to catch the shot? Same for B-roll. You know, I do a lot of run and gun B-roll stuff for these corporate clients. And so if you are kind of in underslung mode or you're in your gimbal and you're really relying on that autofocus for the 60 frames a second, I would get home and some of my shots that I thought were going to be my favorite, there would just be these random moments where the focus is hunting or it didn't catch the subject quite properly. And I really felt like it was falling short of what I needed it to do. Number two on the list is the internal video recording capabilities. And so if you're a recurring watcher of this channel, you know, I think almost to the day, this time last year, I did a video comparing the 8-bit internal recordings of the Z6II to the 10-bit external with the Ninja Atomos 5. I'll link to it up there if you want to watch it. And it's undeniable. There's a huge gain to be had by using the Ninja 5. And after I did that video, I started bringing the Ninja along on a lot more shoots. And I was pretty impressed, you know, getting that 10-bit N-Log footage, pretty good, pretty happy with it. The downside is that I don't always have the ability to like assemble that rig to get the Ninja out, to get the battery in, and to kind of have this honking big thing. A lot of my work is very run and gun. I'm like, specifically last summer, a ton of it was like outdoor stuff for tours and PG. You know, we're on a boat, we're riding horses, and I just could never sort of like get that rig together fast enough, or I couldn't be carrying this like 14-pound like cannonball with me. And so I needed more from the internal recording, and that was one thing that really drew me to the Sony A7S III is I can do 10-bit internal S-Log 3 on this, and it's just been such a game changer for me. Real quick, the other two limitations that I just kind of have noted: 4K 60 crop doesn't sound like it's a pain in the ass, and I know the A7 IV also has that pain point as well. But I do a lot of real estate work, and so I deliver all those files in 4K. And it kind of sucked with the Z6II. I had a 14 to 30 millimeter lens that I would use for it to create kind of the flattering fisheye effect. That 14 millimeter lens becomes a 21 millimeter lens when you're shooting in 4K 60 for real estate, which just kind of sucks. You're paying for that 14 mil lens and you're losing 7 millimeters off the top, and it was frustrating. Lastly, there was just no 4K 120, which is like not something I use a ton. I've really tried to push away from the cinematic slow-mo stuff that we're kind of all a bit annoyed with on YouTube, but it is a tool that was nice to have, or that would be nice to have in the toolkit, and it is something I do use on the A7S III, but not having it as an option, it kind of sucked. And lastly, number 3 on this list is lens availability, which was not a deal breaker for me, being totally honest. The lenses that are available for the Z series cameras are pretty robust. You can always use the adapter. But around this time last year, I was starting to notice that there was no 1.4 glass. The 70 to 200, I think, had just been delayed again. I don't know if it was out or it was just coming out, but they weren't really available because of the pandemic shortages and everything. And so not a deal breaker, but I can tell you now, being in the Sony ecosystem, having access to the Tamron Holy Trinity, which I have all three, having access to Sigma lenses, and just the availability of kind of legacy 1.4 primes and things like that. It's just been really great. The used market is more robust because they've been out for longer. And I just, in general, I'm happier with how many lenses I have to choose from. And their quality is equal to or better, and their price is, you know, a fraction. So it's hard to really be mad about that switch. And yeah, I do want to make a part 2 to this video at some point to talk a bit about what I've learned since switching to Sony, because it hasn't all been good. I mean, it's been really great, and the 3 things that I've kind of focused on in this video were remedied like I thought. So absolutely, it was a great switch. But I've learned a lot, and I have some reflections kind of looking backwards on things that I would do differently. And I do want to kind of put that all into a different video, not this video, because this is probably 40 minutes long at this point. And yeah, the final point I wanted to end on is that there's this dumb old quote in our world that the best camera you have is the one you've got. And I believe that to be true. If you're sitting there and you have a Nikon Z6II, it is a absolutely fantastic camera. Served me well. It was the foundation for my business for many years. Truthfully, I would still be happy if I had to keep shooting on it. I still own my Nikon Z50. I love this camera dearly. I'll never get rid of it. And yeah, I'm just such a Nikon fan. So this again is not a video to say, you know, get rid of your Nikons. It's just me kind of talking about the business decision and the reasons why I switched. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope this video made some sense and that you got something out of it. If you could, hit that subscribe button, the like button, all of the buttons. I hate saying that, but it does help. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions below. I'll try to get to them. Thanks for watching.